here in Perth, Western Australia, and it's the 1st of January 2022. It's the first day of medical apartheid in our state. That we've had our first event today, the Perth races, where people had to be double jabbed to attend, and also the jockeys had to be double jabbed to participate in the races.
I'm here to support, the movement against medical apartheid.
It makes no sense what's going on. There is no logic in this. For people to be double jabbed and still wear a mask.
This is not right to stop. This is the segregated people on this side of the street, and the people over there are allowed to go. It's disgraceful.
Scientist, I've looked at all this and I find there's no science supporting any of this stuff. Lockdowns, masks, so-called vaccines which are not vaccines because they don't stop transmission or infection.
Australian Army veteran, is what's happening now just goes against all the values that I signed up for, mate. Just doesn't sit well in the heart.
All you need is to look at the official figures. Over 700 have died from the experimental.
That's in Australia.
In Australia.
Big money, big pharma.
People of Australia needs to stand up.
It is medical apartheid, and we're all here to actually do some pushback with Mark McGowan because of these mandates.
We've had our first event today, the Perth races, where people had to be double jabbed to attend, and also the jockeys had to be double jabbed to participate in the races. So we've had 3 high-profile jockeys withdraw from the event that we know of at this stage, and many people will not have attended the event for these very reasons, because the public have been lied to about this drug that has been put on the market without being tested to see if it prevents the disease, and it clearly doesn't prevent the disease, so it's not doesn't qualify as being a. So this drug is now being mandated in the Australian population, and people are being discriminated against at restaurants, at venues, and in their clubs. Even if it's a bushwalking club, the golf club, the tennis club. On the east, that has already started, and here in Western Australia, on the first day of 2022, is our first event where people are being discriminated against based on a medical intervention. And that is a crime under common law, our inalienable human rights, and all international covenants that we've ratified, as well as medical ethics. Okay, without bodily integrity, bodily autonomy, we have no freedom. And so I'm really pleased to see over several hundred people here today taking a stand, because only the people can change this. The people have been lied to by their governments. This is corruption with respect to a drug being put on the market that's untested genetic modification technology, and the public's not being told that. And the media has not presented the adverse events, the hundreds of thousands of adverse events that are occurring to these injections. So this is a serious situation. We have a large percentage of the Australian population rising up, hundreds of thousands now across the country, and 2022 must be the year that we remove this corruption from the government, and people must recognise that we are not unvaccinated, we are unjabbed, and this is a drug, not because the cases of this disease have increased since the drug was put on the market. Okay, so wake up Australians. Only Australians can change this, and we will, and it's got to be done in the next month before the passport is fully in place by the 31st of January, when jab 3 will be required.
There's nothing to do with health. This is all about enacting these digital passport systems. It's a globalist agenda. Absolute corruption. The dictators in charge are overreaching their power everywhere, it
Bribing
seems.
people with a drug is never about health. Coercion is not about health. And in this case, the government is lying to the people. They're saying they're not forcing it on the people. But if you're removing people from their jobs, then indirectly you are forcing it upon them, because they cannot feed their families. They cannot move around the country. They cannot participate in society and life itself. So that's the biggest lie that Scott Morrison and all the premiers are telling the public right now. And the second biggest is that this when it's never been tested to prevent the disease, and the statistics are telling everyone that we've had many, many more cases of this disease since the injections were implemented over 2021, and we've had many, many more hospitalisations, and those hospitalisations are the jabbed people that have taken this drug under the belief due to the false information being provided by our governments. So please support medical ethics and integrity, which we always supported prior to 2020. That's all we're asking for is human rights and medical ethics and principles. We want our doctors to speak up and tell us the truth, because bodily integrity is how we get freedom. Once you lose that, there is no freedom, and if you lose the truth, you lose freedom as well. And that's what is being lost with governments that are mandating a drug and telling you that it's not based on any health advice, which of course coercion is never about health, as I said. So please stand up and rise up in numbers together and say no to wearing of masks which make you unhealthy as well, and every directive that has been brought in against the known ways in which we control infectious diseases. Stand up for freedom.
We don't know what the long term is. No one's done any science on this.